and talk. KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry. Emergency crews were called to the old Sherwood Hills Resort in Sardine Canyon on Thursday after heavy snow caused part of a building's roof to collapse. The incident occurred around 3:40 p.m. According to emergency radio communications, an employee at Rising Ridge Recovery called 911 reporting the roof over the resort swimming pool had collapsed. The woman told dispatch operators no one was in that part of the building at the time, but she could smell natural gas coming from the area. Wellsville City Fire Chief Gerald O'Connor said there were no injuries in the collapse and the swimming pool was not being used by the treatment center. He confirmed the roof appeared to have caved in from the heavy snow.
Had massive amounts of snow load on top of it, and it did collapse. There is some structural concerns through parts of the rest of the building, and then there is still a fair amount of snow on the fair amount of the building. So the building has been evacuated.
When firefighters arrived, they searched the rest of the property looking for any elevated levels of natural gas. They reported finding other areas near the collapse where the roof was sagging. Patients at the center were bused from the facility to other locations, and the building's premise was secured. O'Connor said he and the county building inspector examined the extent of the damage after the facility was evacuated. He expressed concern that more damage could occur as temperatures warm up today and snow and rain are in the forecast.
The big concern is like over the weekend when we get rain and warmer temperatures, that's just going to increase the load on it, and we'll just have to see what happens over the weekend.
A second roof collapse was reported around the same time in Hiram at a mobile home near 566 Eagleview Drive. No injuries were reported. KBNU News Time is 5:07. KBNU weather for tonight. Breezy conditions, rain with possible snow, and we've had some thunderstorms this afternoon roll through as well. Chance of snow after midnight, about an inch accumulation. Low near 15. Southwest winds 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts to around 40 early this evening. And then partly cloudy, then clearing on Saturday. High temperature in the low 30s, partly sunny, mid-30s on Sunday. Earlier, 51 was our high, but cooler air has rolled through this afternoon. It's now down to 35 degrees at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology, Cache Valley's most trusted name in hearing aid technology. Call Dr. Paul Danes at 435-753-HEAR or visit cachehearing.com.
Have you pulled your spring sheets out of storage, and do they smell stale and need freshening up? How about your blankets and your quilts? Are things dingy from winter use? Well, go to Mount Logan Laundry. It takes no time at all to freshen everything up with their 55 and 80-pound washers and dryers, and it costs a lot less than the dry cleaners, and free Wi-Fi and drop-off service, too. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town. Find them at 5th East and 9th North in Logan or in Brigham City on the corner of 1st East and 7th South.
KBNU News Time is 5:08. It may not look like the second week of March outside, but it is, and that means it's time for the annual reunion of cowboy poets, Western musicians, and artisans for the 2023 Cache Valley Cowboy Rendezvous. Setting up shop again at the Cache County Event Center at the fairgrounds where they have been the last few years. On KBNU's For the People program on Wednesday, we had musicians Kristen Harris, Doug Figgs, John Chandler, and Chris Mortensen, along with organizer Dale Major. John Chandler is from the Denver area and said that why he enjoys this type of life.
People on my mother's side came to Colorado in 1858 and started inspiring the Pikes Peak or Bust Gold Rush. So I have this automatic history that I've had forever in my background that led me down this path. with this type of music and these type of the people that I hang with. So it's been a lot of fun for me. And this is my second time over here at Cache Valley.
That's very cool.
I played so many festivals over the country, and this one is just really very quickly turned into one of my favorites.
Cache Valley Cowboy Rendezvous started at 3 this afternoon, going till 10 tonight, Saturday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., and 3 stages of Western music, cowboy poetry. There's food vendors, Western vendors there as well. A couple of headlining concerts featuring country singer Billy Dean tomorrow night. And in the afternoon, Jim Curry singing the songs of John Denver at 2 p.m. For a complete schedule and ticket information, although just going into the festival or the rendezvous itself is free, you can get tickets for the concerts at cvcowboy.org. And remember, Utah State Aggie men's basketball playing Boise State in the semifinal tonight at 10 o'clock. CBS Sports Network has the TV coverage. Al Lewis will be talking about it beginning at 9 o'clock tonight on KBNU. News time is 5:11. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
We all know how it can be to go to the wrong place for car repair.
And lights on again. Can you believe this? Unbelievable.
Free local towing for major repairs over $500 at your local AA MCO.
You can find your local AMCO at 75 East, 2000 North in North Logan, 752-1940.
AA MCO.
If your clothes are taking too long to dry, don't run out and buy a new dryer without first checking the vent. Clothes dryer vents can get clogged with lint, and birds can even build a nest in them. If your clothes are taking too long to dry, simply check the outside of your vent, and if you don't feel a swift amount of air, it's probably clogged. Simply clean the vent, and your dryer should work like new. Or, if your vent is too long or too difficult to clean yourself, then give the Duct Hunter a call at 770-4813.
It's tax season, and H&R Block is here to make it a season worth celebrating. Whether you choose to file in person, virtually, or via drop-off, you'll get upfront, transparent pricing and expert help from tax pros that average a decade of experience. Plus, H&R Block's max refund guarantee means you'll ring in the season by getting every dollar you deserve.
Make your appointment with H&R Block in Logan by calling 752-1651 or download the H&R Block app. Proud to be locally owned and operated. 752-1651.
We start each new year filled with hope and prosperity for things to come. At Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology, it's no different. Dr. Daines is so grateful to get to call Cache Valley home and continue to offer his services to the wonderful people that live in our beautiful valley. He wants to help you start your new year off right by improving your hearing, which over the course of time will help improve your quality of life. Give them a call at 435-753-4327 or 753-HERE to schedule an appointment, or you can visit them online at CacheValleyHearing.com.
Spring has sprung, and so have the deals at Murdoch Volkswagen. Get ready for a season of adventure and hop behind the wheel of a brand new VW during our spring sales event. Right now, lease a new 2023 Taos SE for only $329 per month, or lock in 4.9% for 5 years on the Tiguan or Taos. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family. At Murdoch Volkswagen in Logan or online at murdochvw.com.
Call 866-628-3065 to see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 3/31/23.
There's a kind of hush all over the world. Tonight, all over the world, you can hear the sounds of lovers in love.
Welcome back to KBNU's For the People. It is the For the People movie show for Friday, March 10th. This is a big day traditionally in movies because it is the Friday before Oscars weekend. We'll be talking about this later on. Expect Everything Everywhere All at Once to make a big showing. Everyone knows that, but there are probably going to be some surprises this year as well, as far as movies that it really irritated by, and I liked it, and it's good, and I'm not trying to knock it in any way, but I really dislike how many categories I'm seeing Avatar 2 in. I know we've been told this a million times that the Oscars are not the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes, as far as the Golden Globes go, I don't know why they still do them after the story came out of Cher. So they flew some wealthy person connected to Cher and involved with some movies. And Cher had starred in a movie that year. I don't remember what year it was or the name of the movie. It was a romantic comedy, and so someone flew all these members of the voting board out to hang out with Cher for a weekend, and she won a Golden Globe that year for a role that had everybody kind of raising their eyebrows, saying, "Yeah." So I know the Oscars don't work that way. It's not that bad, but I do think sometimes with the Oscars there's a bandwagon effect. Sometimes you see nominations for things that were just, and maybe they need just a category for this, but you'll see something that was just really popular, and that somehow gets translated into Oscar worthy, which I don't think. I don't think that really popular excludes Oscar worthy content, but the Oscars are supposed to be about celebrating a certain type of excellence, something that just really stands above everything else. And not everything that gets super popular does that. But I do think at times that, when a film is extremely popular, it then suddenly gets Oscar consideration. And I wonder if that's deserved. For example, Best Picture nominee Top Gun Maverick. I absolutely loved Top Gun Maverick. I thought it was great. To be honest with you, it's hard to say something like this because it's been so long and I was so young when the first one came out. But I feel like I enjoyed this one actually more than the first one. I've seen the first one again as an adult, and it's really good. It was one of my favorite movies as a teen. But this one was way better. And maybe that's just something you can't really credibly say with so many years in between. But Best Picture? Nah. Everything Everywhere All at Once, yeah, I think deserves that. Triangle of Sadness. So I saw this. This is good. This is unique and definitely not, and very, very well done. But Best Picture? I don't know. All Quiet on the Western Front. I haven't seen this. This is the Netflix limited series. Baz Luhrmann's Elvis, a Best Picture nominee. I kind of get that one a little bit. The Tar, which I haven't seen. I know the story behind the making of Tar, though. Banshees of Inisherin, I definitely think should be on there. And not everybody's cup of tea. Not a movie that's going to, be a blockbuster or make even, boatloads of money. Although it did, but that's usually not the case with films like this. It's really good, and you can see why it gets a Best Picture nomination just because of, the writing, the cinematography, the directing, the acting, like everything. That's what Best Picture is supposed to be about. Is that everything in this movie was near perfect. Women Talking, also, I can see why that's on there. The Fabelmans by Steven Spielberg. Another one that I really, really liked, and have recommended to everyone who hasn't seen it that they should see it. But Best Picture, is it just because it's Steven Spielberg? Is that why we're going Best Picture with this one? Was there something? It was great. And it's unique, that to say the least. It's a movie about movie making, or about what drove at least this character, who, as we've learned, is loosely based on some autobiographical experience of Spielberg himself. Though Spielberg has said repeatedly and adamantly, this is not a biopic. This isn't my life story. There are elements from my life story that I included in this script because they were great narrative devices, but this is not my story. And so, Best Picture? I mean, I don't know. I maybe I'm being too picky. I just feel like that there, and a friend of mine said, okay, what would you do instead? And I don't know. I don't have a list of movies that maybe were better than this, but I have to believe that for the best picture category alone, Avatar, The Way of Water, and The Fabelmans, and Top Gun Maverick, it's at least possible they're in there because they were extremely popular, and not necessarily about best picture. This Sunday, you'll find out also who walks away with the Best Actor nomination. The nominees are Brandon Fraser for The Whale, Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Paul Mescal for his role in After Sun, Austin Butler for his role in Elvis, which, I mean, he was good, and Bill Nye, the science guy, for his role in Living. Those are the Best Actor nominees. Best Actress nominees: Andrea Riseborough for her role in To Leslie, Cate Blanchett for her role in Tar, Michelle Yeoh for her great role. She makes the movie in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Michelle Williams for her role in The Fabelmans, probably the best part of the movie, honestly, her acting there. And Ana de Armas for her role in Blonde, which that is another one that I didn't see. I don't know. Like I say, I don't mean to say that none of these films deserve Best Picture or that they weren't great movies. I just, again, I wonder if part of the reason that this happens is that something gets really popular and then there's some some self-imposed pressure from those who get a vote to basically, include a really popular movie as opposed to something that actually gets, or deserves that Best Picture nominee. So, I don't know. A listener chiming in here saying, this is at least a better crop of nominees. Yeah, we've had some years where both your eyebrows were up, and you really want to know why a movie was even included. One of the films that didn't is kind of the opposite. One of the nominees for Best Picture, All Quiet on the Western Front. This came out this year or last year, and it's streaming on Netflix, and it's a multi-episode, I wouldn't say a series because I think it's not that many episodes. But Netflix called it a film, but it was done in parts because it's super long. This one, I think, deserves to be up there, even if you're not a war movie fan, or even if you didn't think All Quiet on the Western Front needed a remake, which, both those things are kind of true for me. This one was really good because, I love this quote from the director. A director said, "On war films, you usually want bigger, louder, more and more. But on this film, I went the opposite. The goal was the opposite, to be almost invisible to the audience." I thought that was really cool, and that's what made this impossible to turn away from, but also, I think, just a brilliant reimagining of what is really an anti-war classic, All Quiet on the Western Front. And traditionally, in an anti-war film, which most of us probably know that genre through Full Metal Jacket or Platoon, things like that. Full Metal Jacket is still one of my absolute favorite Vietnam films. Just really well done. Hard to watch, but really well done. And they're anti-war because what they're trying to do is show you, they're trying to unglorify the war for you in the film. And All Quiet on the Western Front, the novel, the original book, did exactly that, and the original film tried to do that. But usually what they do is they kind of go, we'll put it this way, a lot of special effects are involved. Because to get the audience to really, let that settle into their head how atrocious and gory and violent and tragic war is, there has to be blood, and there has to be, a lot of explosions, a lot of shooting, a lot of special effects for gore and violence, or to really, illustrate the violence of war. And what I thought was so interesting about this new version of All Quiet on the Western Front is they did literally the exact opposite. They still bring that message home. This is still very much an anti-war movie, and it holds true more so than the older version, by the way, to the original German language book, story-wise. But it really just it doesn't really most times sound or seem like what you expect from a war film. It's very quiet for a war film, but it still drives that message home. And I thought that was really so for me that's a Best Picture nominee. And then on top of that, the writing, the acting, the cinematography, everything that has to be considered in the full scope of a Best Picture nominee or winner, it has all of those things too. So I think that's a great nominee. And an example of what the Best Picture category is supposed to all be about. But that brings us back again to Avatar 2. I really liked it. It could use some editing. That scene, when you're looking at a film that's almost 4 hours long, I think that scene with, showing the kids playing with all the island animals, maybe that could be under a minute instead of 7. Things like that. But they're showing off the special effects. They're showing off this amazing animation that they've literally invented for these movies, and I get it. Does that mean it deserves Best Picture nominee? It definitely deserves some recognition. Not for writing, not for the plot. Sorry, James. But for the production, the acting too, because consider how hard it would be to act in this scenario where you're literally acting out this film, but as it's being made, and as the special effects are being imposed, and yet you're not seeing anything that the audience is seeing or that the director's even seeing as the graphics are put in real time. That was what was unique about how this was filmed. So, just think about that scenario. I think acting in that scenario would be really, really difficult. And so, recognition, absolutely. So some kind of nod from the Academy, absolutely. But Best Picture, I don't know. I feel like Avatar 2, I feel like, is the example of what I'm talking about. A movie that has been thrown in here because it got so much attention. It was so. Everyone who saw it loved it, and it becomes a thing in and of itself, and the Academy, feels a little bandwagon pressure to include it there. And I'm sorry, Top Gun Maverick too, I'd put in that same category. So, if you'd like to yell at me, feel free. Andy might. Andy Morgan joining us in a bit for the People Movie Show. We'll find out, again, in theaters here in Logan this weekend, new to you, and things you can get out and see. Scream 6. Like I said, one of the few too long-running, some might argue, franchises of a horror franchise that actually somewhat, more so than any others at least, holds up. And Scream 6, audiences are actually loving it. So we'll talk about that and more as the For the People Movie Show continues right after this.
If you're interested in the exciting world of broadcasting, the Utah Broadcasters Association invites you to their annual broadcast job fair on Wednesday, March 15th. Discover a wide range of broadcasting opportunities in radio and TV, from announcing and sales to engineering and news. The job fair runs from 9 a.m. to noon at the Union Ballroom on the University of Utah campus. Pre-register at our station website or at utahbroadcasters.com. The Utah Broadcaster Job Fair is brought to you in part by the Cache Valley Media Group and the Utah Broadcasters Association.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and test us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey golfers, this is PGA golf professional Eric Clevin inviting you to come play in the first annual AMK Foundation 4-Man Scramble charity golf event the week of March 6th through the 11th at Links Golf. Call Links Golf today, 435-213-9795 to sign up. All proceeds benefit special needs kids and families in our community. The first annual AMK Foundation charity golf event at Links Golf. Thanks for choosing to support special needs kids and families in our community.
I lived alone and was having problems with my landlord. He's a creep. One night I'm watching TV and I hear my landlord letting himself in. Hey, get out. You can't keep coming in.
I'm just here to fix your fridge and spend some time together.
Get out. I'm reporting you.
Don't make a federal case of it.
A federal case? Sexual harassment in housing is against federal law. If you are harassed, file a complaint with HUD. Go to HUD.gov/fair housing. If you fear for your safety, call 911. Fair housing. The law is on your side. A message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules. Hey.
Won't throw no shade on you. Don't wanna put you through those lies you lived before. Girl, I can give you more.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People movie show. Good news for Beetlejuice fans. Something I realize as I say that, something I've always wanted to say on the movie show. And something that I've never had an opportunity to say. But, yeah, good news for Beetlejuice fans. Just a little tidbit headed into the news here. And, Andy, I know you're going to be super excited about this. Well, actually, I mean she's getting a lot of recognition now for her role in Wednesday, so maybe this is a very good thing. Jenna Ortega, she's in Scream 6. Which is in theaters starting today. But she really, most people are going to know her from Tim Burton's Wednesday on Netflix.
So sorry.
She is, she's considering, this is according to the Hollywood Reporter, she is weighing an offer to star in Beetlejuice 2. Which
I don't like it.
Which will be directed by Tim Burton.
Oh, why?
Well, he made the original, so this is one I kind of give him a pass on. But I like that Wednesday didn't have Burton's hands all over it.
Yeah, but
he was producer or something only on this one. It wasn't too Tim Burton-y.
It's almost like when Pierce Brosnan finally played James Bond, and they were like, Pierce Brosnan's going to play James Bond, and everyone's like, really? Wow, shocker.
Everybody was busy.
So
huh?
that's what I feel about like with this is, she plays this kind of gothy, Tim Burton-esque, I mean,
That's
Addams Family is obviously way before Tim Burton. I get it.
I feel bad dissing her a little bit, but as everyone's kind of praised her for the role and everything, I kept wanting to say, was that really a hard role? The dancing scene was that was excellent. I get why that became a TikTok trend and all this stuff, but the role itself, she kind of just had to be Wednesday, from the old TV show. And
I always just think what Roger Ebert said. He never blamed the actors.
Yeah,
he always blamed the writers and directors.
Yeah,
and let's be honest, that's where. Here's an example. I went and saw Cocaine Bear a second time because I was so irritated in the theater the first time I saw it that I...
From your experience with the frat guys?
It is. And here's the thing. Here's something funny. I actually went to dinner before that, before seeing it the second time. And the waitress came up and I was like, I'm going to a movie in an hour and a half. I wanted, so that they could be like, let's not take a million years to bring your stuff. Anyway, I always thought that was nice to do. And she said, oh, what movie are you seeing? And I said, Cocaine Bear. And she goes, oh, I saw that. And I said, yeah, did you like it? She goes, I don't know. The theater was really noisy. And I go, did you see it at the University 6 Theater? And she said, yeah. And I said, was like the entire USU frat crew behind you, like in the very back? And she goes, yes. And I go, I was there. And I hated it as well.
So anyway, you weren't alone.
Yeah, so we had this common bonding thing where she was like, yeah, these people were stupid.
That's funny, and you both end up at the second.
Yeah, so I saw
That's
it.
Funny.
So I saw it a second time, and I upped my grade because I enjoyed it because it was quiet.
You gave it a C+, right?
Mm-hmm. I moved it to a solid B.
Oh, really?
2 grade levels higher.
Okay. Even
2 grade levels higher, Jason.
2 grade levels higher because there wasn't an obnoxious audience.
I can't decide if I'm getting to the get off my lawn portion of my movie reviewing career, right? You know me. I'm really generous with praise. Like if I go and see a movie,
unless apparently it's Beetlejuice 2.
Well, I haven't seen it
yet. At which point you're not excited.
I didn't love Beetlejuice 1. Like I
did at the time. It doesn't hold up. I've gone back and watched it again and thought that
I can't believe I just called that Beetlejuice 1.
I remember that as way funnier than it really is.
Beetlejuice 1. No, here's the thing that I think I laughed about it is I went with a group of kids when I was in middle school, and like someone would laugh and we'd all look at each other and we'd start laughing, and then I was like, I don't know what we're laughing about because it wasn't funny.
I know that feeling, and that's kind of like going back and seeing it again just recently, actually, as an adult. It doesn't hold up as, but I was obsessed with it when it first hit theaters. I thought this was one of the greatest films ever.
That's actually a question. This might be something we have to take up at another time because I definitely want to tell you about Creed 3.
Okay,
but I get this asked a lot: is what's a movie that is widely beloved by many people that and it doesn't have to be an Oscar movie. It doesn't have to be like how I hate Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah,
or
actually is pretty bad.
And I hate the Muppets. Anyway,
I think you're wrong for that.
I just wanted to throw that in because I was going to say if Beetlejuice 2 has Muppets, I'm definitely not there. However, that's what I'm talking about. Like
a film that's loved, and
like I hear a lot of people go, "Oh, I hate Napoleon Dynamite." That's when I hear a lot of people.
Yeah,
that there's split. For me, one that just pops up, and I think it was because you were talking about Beetlejuice. I do not like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I just don't like it. I don't think it's funny at all in any way, shape, or form.
You're not going to die. You just can't think of anything good to do. That doesn't make you laugh.
Not really.
That's one of my absolute
so
favorite
many
parts
better
of the film.
John Hughes movies.
Oh yeah, it's not John Hughes' best. I can name mine right now as we
every Harry Potter movie.
What? Yeah, actually, I'll say this and then we'll go to the news before the phone lines right up. How about that? I just call it an overrated film. It's one everybody loved, thought it was so hilarious. Bob Barker was in it and everything.
I know what this is.
Happy Gilmore.
Yep.
Oh, so dumb. We'll be back with more of the For the People movie show right after the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News brought to you by Logan Extermination. Authorities have released the identity of the man who was found dead early this morning in the rubble of his Cache Junction home, along with the other two who remain in the hospital. The family's home exploded Thursday night just before 6 p.m. Cache County Sheriff's Lieutenant Mikkelshan Barshi said emergency crews located John Mullen just after midnight. He had been in the home at the time of the explosion and died in the blast. Meanwhile, Karen Mullen and Joshua Mullen remain hospitalized in critical condition. The firefighters and law enforcement were called to the Mullins' home near 5670 North SR 23 right after the explosion was reported. The cause is still under investigation. A warm south wind, multiple feet of snow, and now rain all combined for conditions ripe for flooding throughout northern Utah and southeast Idaho. Several communities are providing resources to help their residents prepare for and deal with spring runoff. In Logan, a sandbag self-fill location is available for residents. Bags will be available for Logan City residents at the Logan Library at their temporary location, 950 West, 600 North. Logan City residents are asked to visit the library's front desk during regular library hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday from 10 to 2, to pick up unfilled bags up to 10 per household. Proof of Logan City residency will be required for pickup. Also, Hiram City is making available unfilled sandbags, and we also have word that Wellsville and Tremonton have followed suit as well. You can get the full details at CacheValleyDaily.com. Taylor Funk's 32 points led Utah State over New Mexico 91-76 late last night in the Mountain West Conference Tournament quarterfinals. And the third-seeded Aggies will face the tournament's number 2 seed, Boise State, in tonight's semifinal. Another late start. Tip is at 10 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. Listen to Al Lewis and Jalen Moore talk about the game ahead of time from 9 to 10 tonight on KBNU. Al and Jalen and John Russell will be back after the game's conclusion late tonight. Mostly cloudy, breezy rain possible, and possible snow and thunderstorms. Little bit of everything this evening. Chance of snow after midnight, about an inch accumulation. Low near 15. Winds gusting to around 40 miles an hour early this evening. Partly cloudy in the morning, then clearing on Saturday. High in the low 30s. Partly sunny, mid-30s on Sunday. It was 51 earlier today. For the latest news, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
The bugs love the good weather. I'm guessing you have a bunch of those creepy crawlers waiting patiently to come into your cozy home. Let Logan Extermination take care of those unwanted pests with a monthly exterior spray. Now for a limited time, they'll spray your home's exterior monthly from April to October for only $65 per month for a 1,500 square foot home. Call Logan Extermination before your home becomes enemy territory. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
It's tax season, and H&R Block is here to make it a season worth celebrating. Whether you choose to file in person, virtually, or via drop-off, you'll get upfront, transparent pricing and expert help from tax pros that average a decade of experience. Plus, H&R Block's max refund guarantee means you'll ring in the season by getting every dollar you deserve.
Make your appointment with H&R Block in Logan by calling 752-1651 or download the H&R Block app. Proud to be locally owned and operated. 752-1651.
Jessup Insurance invites you to attend a friendly, no-cost educational Medicare meeting Wednesday, March 15th. Jessup Insurance will answer any questions and simplify the entire Medicare process, all while enjoying a yummy dessert. Wednesday, 7 p.m., March 15th, Jessup Insurance. Call 213-3200 for more information or stop at 530 West, 465 North in Providence. Wednesday, March 15th.
Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services. Let us guide you.
Where do you turn for help when you have ear, nose, or throat issues? Doctors Kaiser or Wilson at Intermountain Healthcare, Budge Clinic ENT are trusted names throughout Cache Valley. Their 5-star reviews tell the story. One person wrote, Dr. Wilson answered all of my questions and was very thorough. Another person wrote, Dr. Wilson took time to ask a lot of questions and figure out what was going on. For more information about Doctors Kaiser or Wilson, search Budge Clinic ENT on the web. Doctors Kaiser and Wilson provide local care with Intermountain expertise.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People Movie Show. Andy Morgan here in the studio. I mentioned the Scream 6 in theaters here in Logan. One of the few, I maintain at least, one of the few horror franchise that has made it to like episode 6 that kind of holds up more than others do.
Yeah.
But the film you're really excited to talk about actually came out last weekend. I was away.
You were doing politic things.
I was away to the legislature. That was Utah Word of the Day.
Did you ever find out what Dan
McKay's I read
McKay's
today? I was to the
favorite
legislature.
movie was?
No, he still won't even make eye contact.
It's probably United 93.
I did talk about that earlier in the week, though. So Dan McKay's flag bill is getting a referendum. There's a referendum. People are trying to repeal his flag bill, his new flag bill, and
what's important stuff.
And I mentioned earlier in the week that the only thing I really paid attention to with this whole thing, because I'm not a big, I will never put a flag on my car. And if you have, I'm sorry, I'm judging you.
No, I haven't.
Even Jazz fans, I'm talking to you too.
I don't put stickers on my car.
Stickers I'm okay with if they're subtle. If you've got to plaster the whole back end of your car, you want attention. If you put a flag on your car, you want attention. And that is just a personal pet peeve of mine. But... You know, people who put flags in their yards, I get it. I'm not that person, but I get it. And I good for you. But his flag bill's getting some resistance, and so I mentioned earlier in the week that the only thing I really paid attention to throughout of all of this was it irritated me that Dan McCay was taking credit for it, because Representative Stephen Handy actually did all the work, but then he lost his primary election earlier in 2022.
Okay.
So somebody had to pick it up and finish it, and Dan picked it up and finished it, and there he is in this Senate press briefing, patting himself on the back. Oh, I'm so proud of the work we've done. Dude, you literally just put your name on somebody else's project.
I'm gonna.
Politicians just attract a type, Not always, but that type is always attracted to politics.
Hey, can I tell you something funny?
Thank you for allowing me to go on that rant a second time this week. It feels so good.
There are a lot of there are few.
Get back to your hate for the idea of Beetlejuice 2.
No, there's a lot of movies. I don't know if you mentioned this during the first part of the show, but you mentioned Scream.
Yeah,
that's
Scream
in theaters.
6,
which
is actually Scream 2
of the reboot.
Yeah, but it's Scream 6, and anyway.
Yeah, and it's actually, it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. If you want to give Rotten Tomatoes any, credence.
Yeah.
65 with Adam Driver, which they didn't screen for the press, is out in theaters.
I've heard
bad things,
horrible things.
Yeah, it's not getting good reviews. I love Adam Driver, so I kind of want to. I'm going to see it no matter what. And
New York Times funniest movie review. I don't even know if he was trying to be funny, but the New York Times critic got it up here. First sentence of the stranded survivalist arrives with a young, moody girl, as survivalists do. That's his first sentence. Basically, kind of shredding the whole idea of like this just being this cookie cutter, Last Man on Earth kind of. But it's not Last Man on Earth because he's somewhere else anyway.
Well,
I don't know.
That's
Go
out.
see it if you like
that's
dinosaurs
out.
and Adam Driver.
Obviously the Scream 6 or whatever you want to call it is out.
Yeah.
Cocaine Bear is still in theaters, as is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Both of those making more money than they thought they would.
Cocaine Bear makes sense to me. Like I said, I liked it a lot better the second time. Then there's this Guy Ritchie movie that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, hey, by the way, we got this."
Made a movie.
I almost want to think like he sent it and it landed in like somebody's inbox. And he's like, "Final cut done," and they were like, "Boom, let's shoot it and put it out."
Yeah.
He was like, "Whoa."
Actually, my understanding of this is that's kind of what happened. But the opposite. He made it, and then and nobody really asked what he was making. Nobody really checked on it because it's Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "It's done," and they're like, "Wait, what?"
And it has Josh Hartnett, which probably makes sense.
Yeah.
This is actually, nobody knows this, but this is actually made in 2005.
Yeah.
when Josh Hartnett was a thing.
When people knew who he was.
Creed 3 is in both theaters, both in University and the Providence Theater, and that's what I want to talk about. I got to be honest, I'm a little opposite with the Rocky movies. I think Rocky 1 and 2 are, maybe have more critical acclaim, or some of the boring Rockies.
Yeah.
As a kid, I loved Rocky 3 and Rocky 4.
I remember Rocky 3 because of the age I was when that.
Yeah, Mr. T, Eye of the Tiger, Hulk Hogan,
but I can't say I was ever. Boxing has always put me off.
Yeah.
Even in fictionalized form, I've just never. There's something about it that I don't care to watch it, even if I know it's just actors.
People getting beat.
Yeah, it's not.
I think about that. Like, actually, the whole time during Creed 3, I was like, they kept congratulating him on his career, and I was like, well, let's fast forward 30 years into Creed 7 when he's like drilling and they have to feed him his baby food, and he gets pushed around in a wheelchair.
All the traumatic head injury
from his brain injuries. But in all seriousness, though, the Rocky franchise went off the rails. I mean, Rocky 5, with the, hey, I got brain damage now, and Tommy, I lost all my money, and now I'm living in Philly, and Tommy, my boy, I'm going to train you, and then that's my Philly. That's my Sylvester Stallone accent. And then they had Rocky Balboa, right?
Yeah.
And then they had Rocky.
And that's when I think someone stepped in and said, all right.
No more.
Stop
please.
it.
So when Creed first got announced, I was like, okay, I don't know how to feel about this.
I made fun of this in advance.
Oh yeah, I was on the fence. I love Michael B. Jordan. He had just come out of Fruitvale Station, but then he'd also done the Fantastic Four, which seemed like a misstep for everybody involved.
And that's what I thought Creed was. I thought, man, your career is just starting to blossom.
Then I saw Ryan Coogler
attached
to it, who had done Fruitvale Station. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. And
then we started to hear bits and pieces of the plot.
Well,
that's when I got intrigued. I'm like, okay,
it's probably the best, pound for pound. It's probably the best movie of the entire Rocky franchise. The Creed movies are better than any of the Rocky movies, hands down.
The original Creed was back to my saying, boxing's never really been my thing. I don't care to watch it even in a fictionalized version in a film. I loved Creed.
It was great.
The first one. I thought that was an excellent movie and deserved more
I get choked
award
up.
recognition than it got.
Well, Sylvester Stallone, did he? I can't even remember. Did he win an Oscar for that? He was nominated.
He was nominated. He didn't win.
Who won? I can't remember.
I can't remember that year.
Someone that clearly didn't deserve it, because I did think that Sylvester Stallone did deserve it. I'm going to have to look that up.
I think that's what was so striking about Creed is like, wow.
He won our Utah Film Critics.
Act. Sylvester Stallone can actually...
you've seen Copland, right? With the mafia cop movie where he's like the deaf cop that got, because the gun went off by his ear. I mean, it was like a swimming...
Very good in that.
He's great. I mean, Sylvester Stallone can act, but he just kind of got that label of being sort of like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, we won't say Arnold Schwarzenegger can act, but, it was the whole, 80s icon. But I
stuff him in everything.
Yeah. Anyhow, but Creed 2 was not my favorite. I just felt like that was a little bit more formulaic.
I didn't actually see it.
It was the thing I didn't love was it was like, hey, did you know that this guy that Rocky fought, who in Rocky ruined his life because he was like a Russian hero, and then when Rocky kicked his butt in Rocky 4, it ruined his life.
Yeah.
Well, now there's Creed. Now there's Ivan Drago. His
the kid.
son. Yeah. And you got to fight him.
That takes us full circle back to Beetlejuice 2. Because if Jenna Ortega takes this role, she will star as the daughter of Lydia, who was played by Winona Ryder.
I hate everything.
Who you know from that Jane Austen movie where she has a British accent.
Might as well be a Muppet.
How would it be to have an entire career as lengthy as Winona Ryder's, and that's what you're most known for?
I think
British accent.
She's most known
in the Jane Austen film.
I think because of the age right now. And
and shoplifting.
She's known for
shoplifting.
No, she's known for Stranger Things.
Yeah, she's great in Stranger Things, and I shouldn't be mean because I actually really enjoy her. I don't think she's the greatest actress, but
her best role was as Spock's mom.
Yeah.
What? No, that can't be right. How old was she?
I liked her in Heathers.
She 12?
She's great in Heathers. But...
She is good in Heathers.
Yeah.
I also but Creed 3, directed by Michael B. Jordan. Ryan Coogler's he's out. He's producing.
That's also cool, I think.
It's not. It doesn't quite hit the mark as Creed does, but it's really close.
Really,
some of the stuff he does just from angles, like he puts his own stamp on it, which I really liked. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't just.
I think it's cool he gets to finish the story.
Well, it wasn't like he was in the back just copying what everyone did, like everyone did before him.
I see.
He's got his own style, which I like. The story makes sense. It progresses, and then it's got Jonathan Majors. And you know what? Kudos to Michael B. Jordan to be able to say, I'm going to bring this other guy in here that's maybe even a better actor than I am.
Yeah.
Because, collaboration is good. It's not a bad thing. I don't have to be front and center. Yeah, I'm the hero. Yeah, I win. All that kind of stuff.
Knowing that he's going to wash him out a bit because he's that good.
Yeah, and I realized something about Jonathan Majors, and this is what was good for about 50% of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania is Jonathan Majors doesn't have to do any monologuing. He doesn't have to yell, and pound his fists and be, to be menacing. He just can be menacing. It's so unnerving. And that's the bad thing about Quantumania is that the whole show you're like, dude, this guy's he might be a worse villain than Thanos. And then
it's definitely meaner.
And then they ruin it.
Meaner.
They ruin it in the cutscenes. So if you go to it, don't go to the cutscenes. Don't stay. Just leave. Just leave. Pretend you never saw it. But Creed, I gave Creed a B+. I think Creed. The first Creed got an A from me. I think I gave Creed 2 a B-. This doesn't quite make the A- or A category for me. It's a B+, solid B+. I'd see it again.
Is it a worthy end?
Yes.
To the story.
And I hope that they do go and leave it.
From what I've heard, that was Michael B. Jordan's wish as well.
Yeah, I hope so.
He said in an interview that he tried to make this film in such a way that the story is done.
And I felt like that it was. I felt like we were closing the book.
Yeah. And there are other characters. If they wanted to turn this into a universe,
I hope not.
They could take some characters and go in a different direction. But I hope with the Creed story, this is. I plan to see this one. I need to see the second one first.
And you don't even have to see the second one, honestly. That was another thing. This is very separate.
That's something, a little note on Scream 6, too, if that's what you decide to go see this weekend. You don't have to see the earlier ones because there are some pretty lengthy moments of exposition in this one in which they basically bring everyone up to speed and explain why Neve Campbell's not there, and which in the real world is because she said, I'm worth more money than that, and they said, no, you're not.
Hey, really quick, I wanted to tell you something I saw today.
Okay.
I'll send you the link, and you can post it on the KVNU Facebook page. Okay. But, Super Mario Brothers movie comes out April 5th.
Next month, yeah.
It'll be one of the, kind of big movies heading into the spring, summer. But today, I think it's Red Wing Shoes and Nintendo, they actually combined forces to actually create a livable, wearable pair of Mario's boots.
Really?
I don't think they're going to sell them, but they were legit.
That's pretty cool.
And I don't know if you saw in the news a couple weeks ago, this company Mischief with the big red boots.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Those are selling for like $1,800 on StockX right now.
Oh, man.
They're like little cartoon boots, right?
It's got to be heavy, too.
So I was just looking at these Mario shoes, and I was like, you can't wear these with anything but overalls, right?
Right.
Like, if you put those on with skinny pants or something, somebody's be like, what?
You look like that the bull.
You got
the Alpha Kong guy.
Exactly. It's probably in bed. Oh, my gosh.
That is funny.
That makes me sad. So sad.
Check it out. I'll post a link to this on our Facebook page, and we'll be back right after this.
Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
If you're interested in the exciting world of broadcasting, the Utah Broadcasters Association invites you to their annual broadcast job fair on Wednesday, March 15th. Discover a wide range of broadcasting opportunities in radio and TV, from announcing and sales to engineering and news. The job fair runs from 9 a.m. to noon at the Union Ballroom on the University of Utah campus. Pre-register at our station website or at utahbroadcasters.com. The Utah Broadcaster Job Fair is brought to you in part by the Cache Valley Media Group and the Utah Broadcasters Association.
Hi, this is Drew Allen with Allen Mortuaries. Over the years, thousands of families have planned ahead with Allen Mortuaries. Planning ahead helps you make informed and thoughtful decisions. It also spares your family the stress of making these decisions under the pressure of time and strong emotions. Allen Mortuaries' secure pre-need trust plan can save you nearly 40% versus other plans. Keep it simple, safe, and secure. Go with the proven choice, Allen Mortuaries. Voted best funeral home in Cache Valley in northern Utah. Allen Mortuaries. Then, now, always.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Just a minute left in the show. So, final thoughts on Creed. Did you see Champions? Are you going to see Champions?
No, I haven't seen Champions, but I will be seeing. We'll have a couple other reviews next week. We'll also have. We'll talk about Ted Lasso season 3 premieres. We'll talk about the end of 1923. Because we do talk about TV on this show as well.
Sure.
And we'll also talk about. I'm actually sad to say this, that I have to travel. I'll be traveling Sunday through Wednesday, and
so you're not going to see the Oscars live?
I'm not.
Wow, that's a first.
And honestly, probably, I don't even know. I don't even know how many. It's been a long time. I can't even count it. probably since before I was in college.
I can't think of a time that you didn't see the Oscars.
The Oscars are my Super Bowl, man.
But you'll have seen them by next Friday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope somebody gets slapped again.
That made him last year. I mean, it doesn't have to be Chris Rock every time.
Well, if anyone deserved it, though, right? Somebody's like, no one deserves to get slapped. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but if I was going to slap someone, it would be Chris Rock.
I watched his stand-up special on Netflix. And man, Chris, you can only write that name so long. Somebody should slap you again. Write something original. Same to you, Roseanne. Stop it. You're comedians. Do your jobs. All right. That's the For the People movie show for this week. What's next week?
Oscar time.
That's right.